Hello and welcome back to the channel. For today's video we're going to be taking a look at the last alliance war of the season. For today we actually ended up matching up against the NYC Guardians, which did end up being a really close war. This was pretty daunting going into it, as we definitely needed to win this in order to secure Plat 1 after having a bit of a rougher season. But this was a really fun one. My alliance leader and my officers and I, we all spent a couple hours planning on a Discord voice chat all together, and we had a really good plan going into this war. So I ended up going with a full Kingpin team and going full Path 9 all the way. I take every fight in this video with Kingpin except for one that you'll see in section 2. It was up against a Magneto that I actually was lucky enough to get to use Hood for. So the first fight that I have for today is this Hazard Shift Arcus. This is a fight that I've done countless times with Kingpin. I'm very comfortable fighting Arcus with him in general, and then adding on Hazard Shift just makes this go extremely quickly. One thing to point out is that Kingpin is actually bugged. He's been bugged for a while. If you look at the numbers at the end of the video compared to the beginning, where I had less debuffs and less overpowers, I'm actually doing less damage at the end of the video. For some reason, the damage starts scaling really weird with the SIG ability, but regardless of that bug, Kingpin is still extremely effective in any time that I use him, so it doesn't really affect me whatsoever. In our next fight, we have Kingpin taking on this Hazard Shift Cosmic Ghost Rider. This is the same game plan as always. Here I didn't actually mean to throw my special 2, but it ends up working out just fine. I accidentally dash in early there, trying to go for a cheeky little hit. But he threw his special 1, so that Unstoppable came in handy, and I ended up getting extra rage charges. We're going to throw another special 1, and CGR is just going to degen right down. Easy fights. Kingpin is so easy to use on Path 9 and Section 1 with Hazard Shift. And, you know, against the Hazard Shift Mini, if you leave the boss with Hazard Shift up, he just makes anything a joke. Next up, we had this SpiderHam on Encroaching Stun and Power Reserve. I really love this fight with Kingpin because he can handle all of SpiderHam's debuffs really easily. I basically don't ever have to worry about his taunts sticking on me, his power stings being on me. He can still evade if I don't play my power bar very well, though in this fight he never ends up evading me. I end up just throwing my L1s basically as soon as I cross the power threshold. And even if I were to get stunned by Encroaching Stun, it would immediately be shrugged off thanks to the Hood synergy, so this fight is extremely easy. I do understand this placement if you're trying to catch somebody off guard with like his spamming of special 2s or special 1s, as they do have a bit longer animations, so Encroaching Stun can catch you off guard, and SpiderHam is one of those tricky defenders that can be a pain if you end up messing up. But with Kingpin being at full control of all of the debuffs, this ends up being really easy. This next fight that I have is one that I was really excited for, and it is Magneto on Window of Opportunity and One Eye Open. I ended up taking this with Hood. I figured that I could take it with Kingpin, though I got permission to use Hood for this, as I could fully control the fight pretty much right off the gate. So I'm going to go right into invisibility, try to make my own openings, and start stacking up my hexes and staggers on him. The stagger right there played out really well, as it allowed me to eat his Unstoppable on his heavy and retaliate right afterwards. The AI is being a little weird, dexing me quite often, but now I'm going to get into the fight quite well. Start getting into the flow a bit more and go for that special 2, completely lock Magneto down. One thing that I love about Hood so much is that his miss is any attack, including specials, so I can just phase right through his special 2, which normally can be a little bit difficult to dex. And because of the hex that's on him now, any Unstoppable or any other buff is not going to be triggering, so I can make my own openings at pretty much any time. Now I just triggered my invisibility again, so I do have the full chance to miss, so I know that I can fully phase through that special 2 again, and then go for another special 2, and then here I knew he was going to attack into me, so I started charging my heavy and detonated for a nice easy 60k to finish him off. This is maybe the second fight that I've gotten to take with Hood this season, and it was really fun to get to use him. I bring Kingpin so often, and normally Hood is just there to allow me to have that 100% shrug chance, though they're a very fun pair to play together. Next fight is going to be Terrax on Window of Opportunity and Empowered Immunity. Empowered Immunity, of course, isn't really going to come into play at all here unless I accidentally stun him. Kingpin is such a good Terrax counter, as anytime that his rock field is up, we're going to be constantly gaining a ton of rage charges by converting all of those armor breaks that he places on us. My plan here is to throw as many special ones as I can to constantly have the degen up, and in case you don't know, Kingpin's degen on the L1 actually has a couple of secondary effects while it's active. The first part is that it reduces ability accuracy by a flat 65%, and the other is that it acts as a 50% weakness, both lasting for the full duration of the degen. So anytime that I would be taking rock field damage, it is being heavily mitigated, and that's why in so many Kingpin fights that I do, I spam my special ones. There I went for the belly bump finish just for the disrespect, and we're going to be moving on to Boss Island next. This first fight that I had was the SpiderMan 2099 on Brute Force and Limber. I was assigned this fight with Kingpin. I had originally planned on bringing in Crossbones before we had set forward our final plan for this war, but I am glad that I ended up bringing Kingpin. However, SpiderMan 99's resistances do actually end up mitigating damage quite a bit towards the end of the fight. So I'm going to be going for my special ones constantly, trying to have that ability accuracy reduction and the constant degen. Here I tried to dash backwards, and it actually looks like I parried. I was trying to dash back a second time and dex out of that second hit, but I ended up acting as a parry instead. So here we're trying to bait out his special 2, and he finally throws it, so we're going to go back in. And we've got some pretty big crits going on with us. We're going to be constantly going for the light intercepts and throwing more special ones. And as you've seen through all of these fights today, the power lock synergy from Mr. Sinister is really helping us out, keeping the opponent completely locked down. Here I tried to go for a late intercept and I ended up getting clipped. Right there it just looks like he broke through my block, but I think it was just me trying to dash back and I ended up dropping the block on accident or something. But we go for the special 2 just to get the unstoppable on us so that we can aggressively finish out the fight, and Spider-Man 99 goes down without any significant issues. So now we have the main event. We've got the Battle of the Bellies. We have Kingpin taking on this Mojo final boss. We're going to heal up to full. We're going to make sure that our boosts are still all good. And this is a low sig Mojo, however, we don't let him get up to his max amount of followers anyways, so it doesn't end up coming into play whatsoever. So my game plan here is to hope and pray that I get good prompts, and that's honestly the best that I can hope for. In the event that he does get prompts that are going to be negative to us, we will be taking degen damage, so I'm going to be constantly throwing special ones to, again, constantly have the weakness, and to hopefully shut down any additional power gain that he ends up getting from completing those prompts. This is also the main reason that I brought in the power lock synergy today, so that anytime that Mojo would throw his special, then he's going to end up being power locked, and I can play very aggressively into him. Here we're going to be throwing our special 2, just to have the unstoppable on ourselves. We don't really get to get a ton of benefit out of it. We don't get as much rage as I would normally have liked, but we do go for another special 1 in order to keep that degen up again. And this fight is going extremely well so far. We're constantly light intercepting. We're getting nothing but good prompts so far. I did take a couple of hits right there, but here we're going to go for another special 1. This does almost push him to a special 2, but thankfully he throws that special 1. He's being very good about throwing all of his specials. You know, continuing our cycle and everything. Anytime that we get him backed into the corner, he ends up being very aggressive towards us, which is awesome. This is exactly what we want. And these light intercepts have all basically worked out perfectly, which is so nice to see for once, since I've been having so many control issues lately with Kingpin. And here in just a minute, I think he is going to trigger his first prompt in this fight, and so we're going to end up taking a little bit of degen damage. Yeah, there he daxes out of my combo, and I know that I have plenty of health, so I just say screw it, and I end up hitting into him anyways. Because that anti-life field is active, my overpower actually ended up having a shortened duration. There he actually parried me, but because of Hood giving me guaranteed chance to shrug debuffs, then I was able to completely go in and retaliate after that. Here I actually tried to go for the special 3 while I had my overpower up to finish out the fight, but it had just expired right before, so this ends up leaving him with 2% health. And we're going to go in, hit him a couple of times, and he's going to dash in, and we're going to go for the disrespect finish again with the belly bump, and Mojo is down. So we did end up actually winning this war against the NYC Guardians, which was awesome for our morale as an alliance. It really showed that, you know, what we can do. They had a few rank 4s on defense. In BG3 we had a rank 4 Doom on Power Snack that one of my alliance mates ended up taking. I mean, this was a pretty intense war. We knew that we had to win going into this, so stress was really high for me and my officers and my alliance leader today. And I just wanted to say thank you to Axe, Amanda, and Blaze specifically for all y'all's help this season, for planning Battle Groups 2 and 3. I know it hasn't always been easy, but it's been really awesome to see what we've been capable of. And you can bet your ass that next season we're going to be pushing for Masters. We're going to be coming for it. I really think that we can do it. So anyways, if anyone is still watching, thank you so much. Let me know what you'd like to see down below. I will be working on a full War Machine guide sometime soon. I'm working on getting together a lot of gameplay. If you have any idea of specific areas where you'd like to see him performing, please just let me know, and I'm more than happy to see what I can do for you. If you've got any other comments, any other feedback, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. And otherwise, take care, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.